Welcome back to episode 4 of the JPEG Show with Jean-Paul Gedeon. Today, my guest is Tiana Gamble. Welcome.
Hello.
So tell us from start, your name, your business, who you are.
I'm Tiana Gamble. I own a couple businesses. I own Bikini Bird, which is an online store and a brick and mortar in Kailua, Hawaii. And I also own Creative Design Hawaii, which I took over 2 years ago. And it's a 38-year-old business. I grew up on the North Shore of Oahu, Pupukea, and went to school out there. Then I moved to town in 8th grade and went to school in town and graduated, and then moved to LA to go to Loyola Marymount for college. Stayed there till about 10 years ago, till I was 31.
What did you do in LA?
In LA, I started as a sales rep and actually moved to Hawaii for a year or two for a boyfriend, and worked for Fox Racing, a motocross company. And Pete Fox offered me an in-house job managing the women's design team.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing, an opportunity. I didn't have any background in design. I was all in business marketing, and international business marketing was my major, and a minor in dance.
Oh, wow. Matches.
But yeah, that didn't take me far. But he recruited me in-house, and I basically lost $1 million for the company the first year, and in 8 years got it to 50 million in sales. And then met my husband here on a trip home, and had to make the decision as love over career, so I decided to move back.
I didn't know all this cool stuff about you.
I know, I have a random history.
So do you design clothing for Fox?
I just managed the design team. So I was the design merchandiser. So what that position is, you would manage the budget. So they'd say, okay, last year you sold X amount, here's your margin, here's the dollar amount you have to build the entire line. So the developers would give me the cost of all the goods, and then I'd put it into a spreadsheet. So I'd create the budget for the entire line. So I'd basically build a line. I can have a vision, but I think I know what sells more than knowing what to design. So I can tell you that's not gonna sell, or there's a reason why people don't like this or that, but I'm not a designer by any means.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, with the business I'm in now, it's kind of crazy.
So fast forward from, looked like action sports, really was kind of ocean, outdoor lifestyle. Is that how Bikini Bird started? Was it like a blog you had, or?
So Bikini Bird started when I was debating on moving home, and there were all these blogs, but it was not a ton. There was like fashion blogs, and now there's so many, but there was like literally 10 really good ones, and everyone followed them. And I had this idea with a friend to start Bikini Bird as like one focused on swimwear and more like tropical vibe. And and I knew I was moving back to Hawaii eventually, so I was like, well, let's just make something about swimwear. So we got a really decent following through it. We had like 40,000 hits pretty quickly, and we were styling for Trans World Business and in the action sports world, but also a lot of my friends were starting swimwear lines that are very popular now.
Oh, solid.
So I would interview them, do all these blogs, and we were doing Instagram before anyone even knew what Instagram was. We did YouTube things. I mean, looking back, if I would have capitalized on it more, I didn't, because I was working full time, but we could have done more ad sales. What happened is there was a couple other girls that sort of took our model and then did it more on themselves versus like I've always been like writing. I wrote from third person, you know, or our opinion, but it's not. I would never market myself.
It was never you.
Yeah.
You weren't the
And if
single
I was
influencer.
maybe 10 years younger, I would have done it, but I was already, you know, aged out. But anyway, so we did that for, or I had that for about 4 years, I want to say, or 3 years, where we'd blog, and then we started doing these pop-up shops online where we would, I'd curate a bunch, I'd talk to all these cool brands, and they'd offer to do exclusives, and then we'd sell it online, and they'd sell out. And I didn't realize how special that was at the time. You're just kind of in it. And then we created an online store. The online store did well, and I want to say I was turning 39, I was pregnant with my second kid, and decided I either needed to like take it up a notch or shut it down. So I opened a store in Kailua. And actually the day I opened the store was the day I found out I was pregnant with my second kid. And then 8 months later bought Creative Design and quit my full-time job.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Was that Billabong or Olukai? That was at Olukai. So you're doing Bikini Bird, you're working full-time at Olukai.
Correct.
You decide to open up a store.
Yep.
And then you had the opportunity to buy Creative Design Hawaii.
Yep.
You said, I'm gonna do that, quit Olukai, still have Bikini Bird on the side.
This is how it went down.
Yeah, break it down.
I went on maternity leave from my full-time job and hired a girl to help me run creative design. And then I went in with my 2-month-old. So the last month of my maternity leave, I tried to learn the business. And then I stayed on it with Olukai for a while until I kind of felt like I could maybe leave. I just needed to know that the business was actually solid.
Oh, cool. You didn't leave them high and dry.
Yes.
Cool.
And I didn't even know if it was solid once I left because it was really scary. But I did end up working for Olukai on a part-time basis too. So it kind of worked out. Like, I don't know, they've been so great. And I'm of value to them. I've been around for a long time in Hawaii, obviously from here, and then understanding the industry. I still do sales. I'm still involved with a lot of buyers. So I still work with them as well.
Oh, cool.
Yep, and have the store, and have creative design, and have 2 kids.
Oh my goodness, what don't you do? Are you a chef too?
No. If I had time, maybe. No. I just think in Hawaii, you gotta kind of have a lot going on because it's small. So it's not like,
So out of all the things that you're doing right now,
Yes.
what kind of challenges are you facing?
Challenges.
And how have you overcome these challenges?
The biggest thing is just trying to make the right decision on how to grow, what to focus on. And I think that's my number one challenge right now is where to focus most of my attention. I mean, obviously, my priority is Olukai because they pay me, but creative design is also my priority because it's so busy and we've grown it a ton and the potential is so huge. And I keep hiring people, but I just want to make sure I'm hiring smart and I'm utilizing all of their abilities to their best, performance. So I think that's my biggest struggle, is that. And just how to go. I feel like I'm the best salesperson, so it's really hard to find someone else to do that. And it's understanding how to train them or ways to get them to help close deals or, I don't know. And then for Bikini Bird, my challenge is whether or not to expand it or keep it as is, or it's profitable. It's not, but it's just, am I spread too thin? But I'm really good at delegating. I learned that about myself. I trust people, and I think I'm good at being very straightforward when it comes to my feelings on things. So if something's not right, I just say it. I'm not trying to be passive aggressive. I just say it straightforward and then get them to fix it. So as far as I do a lot, but I also think I delegate a lot. I just think I need more time to big picture focus, and I don't have it.
To work on your business.
Correct.
Not in your business.
Right.
Get that macro view of the whole organization.
But I also am the best salesperson, so it's hard, and I'm sure you know that.
What do you consider are good delegating skills?
I think I trust people with a lot more than some people would feel comfortable with. I put a lot of the responsibility on them, and I check in with them. So I don't just, you can't delegate and then just leave them on their own. I think you have to delegate and manage. So I'd say, but managing doesn't mean doing it for them. It means managing them. And so I think that's one of my strengths, in the fact that I will guide them, double check, versus give it to me, I'll just do it.
And you're not micromanaging them.
Correct, it's not micromanaging, it's delegating.
Delegating. So you let them fail a little bit, or you catch them before they fail?
No, I let them fail and then I get really bummed.
Uh-huh.
But I think they feel just as bad. I don't think I can ever make someone feel as bad as they feel for failing, So, I mean, trust me, there's been some major failures we had to go through in our business, forgetting to put shipping on an invoice, costs a couple grand, and that's something, and I was so upset, but it's I don't have the time to sit there and do every single invoice, and I'll probably make the same mistake. So the reality is just let the person do it. If they make the mistake more than once, then you can figure out if that's not the right fit.
So talk about Creative Design Hawaii. You talked about Bikini Bird a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you do there? What do you guys offer? What is it? It sounds creative.
Yeah, it's creative. I mean, I think we're just trying to come from a perspective of what's like kind of on trend, what's new, what's relevant now. What used to be, what used to be really important with advertising and that type of stuff, I think it's changed. I think the person's younger and smarter and wants to know that you know what's going on, and wants to know that the companies they're following. I mean, I've been in retail forever, so I just feel like the retailers that are doing well are really connecting with what the new kids want, and that doesn't mean they necessarily want, the same old brands. It's like they have to kind of know what's happening, like if it's wellness or if it's, I don't know, sustainability. I mean, the hot topics that are going to help brand you or brand a company or, I don't know, I guess applying that thought process. It's kind of the way I started Bikini Bird. It was like a need. It was something that people were interested in. And then you just want to and then just not wasting, I just feel like creative design, we want to try and create things that it's meaningful. Mm-hmm. It's something that you're wanting to sell your business to these people because they need it. But maybe they don't need a chip clip, if they're 20. They don't care about that. So it's just trying to figure out who you're marketing to. And
what do you guys offer?
Promotional items, uniforms, anything logoed. Just basically anything you can think of that's logoed. We do floor mats to tents, to uniforms, to gift items, to sustainable items, gift with purchase, retail items. I mean, we work with retail stores, wholesale, insurance companies to hotels, just anything that we can.
I like that game. We're in like the same thing, yeah, because it's a good thing. Like you can seriously, what do you need?
Exactly.
Like, what do you need?
Yep. I think it's just being a good partner, and being attentive. That's like the biggest thing. There's not a lot of that here sometimes. Not here, but in the world. In the world, totally. A lot of people are transactional, just numbers. But to really care, to help someone. Well, and it's hard even to train your team to think that way, because it's like you don't think they're going to come back or tell someone else, or so just being aware of your interaction with people.
So that's kind of one of the challenges you were talking about, is that you're the driving force right now. You're the best salesperson, and you feel a lot of it's on your shoulders, even though you're hiring a bunch of people.
It's definitely still on my shoulders. I mean, I think it's my responsibility. I don't think we're at a point anywhere near it yet to take it off my shoulders, but I just want people to, if we're gonna grow, put some on their shoulders. Like I'll take some, and then everyone else can take some, and we're all holding on. I want to have stuff on my shoulders. I'm ready. But it's just finding other people that are okay with kind of taking it with me.
Failures. What are some of the failures that you have, and how have you overcome those, or did you not overcome them?
I don't know, looking like how to buy a business. I bought my first business, and I learned a lot from that. Like there's some mistakes I made as far as like negotiating, doing my due diligence on like questions I should have asked, but I just didn't know what to ask. Questions like, the account list and what the relationships were like, and I didn't dig deep. Luckily it all worked out, but looking back, I mean, it could have been a very bad situation. All
right, that leads us to a good point. What are a couple of lessons that you could share with all the listeners right here when buying a business?
Figure out what the relationship is. If you're buying a business that's a service-oriented business, figure out the relationship with their clients. So you'd have to call them, ask them for referrals, make sure that why they like the company, why they like, is it because of the owner? Is it that the reason? Because if the owner's gone, I was lucky enough to be a good salesperson, but if you're just looking to buy a business and you're gonna hire a salesperson, and then you could be in big trouble, because Hawaii or anywhere, a lot of people are very loyal to whoever they're working with directly. And I didn't buy any stock, I just bought a business. I bought a book of business, and so that's what I learned. And I also think don't be afraid to negotiate more than you think. Like I should have offered less, much less, but I didn't know any better. So I think that's a good advice. On the other hand, if you're selling a business, I'd follow his advice. Just think big, be positive, and don't show any downside.
Oh.
Yes. So I learned that. I mean, he was so good at just sales. I mean, no downside. And so that's one lesson learned.
Did he say that, no downside?
No, I just, looking back, it was like all smiles, all positive, all, you know, of course you're not gonna, it's just the smart way to sell business.
Yeah. Like, this is a great business. I got a big book of business.
I have a big
We've got
book.
all these clients.
No one ever pays late. You know, I mean, like everything you can think of. You know, and I believe them because of how they ran their business. But for me to grow my business, I'm doing it differently. Like they used to like put an invoice and write their, you know, every order in a book and then mark it off when it was like delivered. Whereas I'm like, just, you know, we're just hustling. So anyway, that would be my one bit of advice. Oh, and I also think, like, if you think you want to own a business, you can't be, I don't think you can be a personality that can only focus on one thing. If you know yourself that you're ADD or you're a multitasker, I think that's a very strong quality to have to own a business. And if you feel like you can do 100 things at once, then you're probably the person to buy a business.
So ADD is a superpower.
Superpower.
I got the superpowers then.
So do I.
It works. That's very entrepreneurial too, where you want to be doing things. Hopefully you can harness that into the business world and excel.
And also, like, I wasn't raised to buy a business. Like, no one told me that could be an option. So I was lucky it came to me, and now looking back, I think that's something I want to teach my kids is if there's an opportunity or if there's something you're interested in, you could work for a company and then maybe find a business that's similar, or, you know, that's something I just never thought of. I always thought you have to start your own business or...
Yeah, you started Bikini Bird from the bottom, build, when you can go in and possibly buy.
Well, and now I could sell Bikini Bird, and if there was a person that could figure it out and could help grow it, it could grow amazingly.
Of course, no downside.
No downside. There's no downside. So it's just, you know, I mean, if I had met someone that owned Bikini Bird at 25 and I had the opportunity, I would buy. But I just didn't know that was even a thought.
So you built a brand, a following that wasn't directly tied to you as a person, as opposed to the other people in the industry.
Yes.
Really tied to them.
Yes.
What are they going to sell?
True.
How are they going to get out?
Yeah. This is true.
This is the golden handcuffs, maybe? They get shackled to their own.
That's true. I mean, they did make it much bigger. I mean, they started a brand. Some of them did really, really well. I just didn't have the time. And I think that's part of it too. Like, maybe one of my lessons learned is I just never took a big risk. I mean, I did recently, but I never took, with Bikini Bird, I could have quit my job and just taken it on. We had 100,000 followers. I mean, now we have 130,000 or something. And all authentic, all through relationships, all through, you know, making sure we just have partners that we'd shoot with, and it's been so fun now looking back.
I feel like organic and collabos and giving credit and sharing.
Cool, in a cool way. It was a very cool way we did it.
Yeah.
I think that I didn't have enough confidence in myself to really take it to a whole nother, like, it took a lot longer than I think if I quit my full time. I had such a great career. I couldn't leave what I was doing to, like, really.
Yeah.
But it's still going, so we're good.
It's still going, so you're good.
Yes.
All right, so we talked about failures. Apparently you have no failures because you have a positive outlook.
I have lots of failures, but I can't think of one that, like.
Nothing notable?
Nothing that's like, no. Nothing that I can think of, and I don't know, maybe it is a failure, but when I was working for Fox in my 20s, I had a best friend we hired on. We paid her like double what she was making in salary. She was the head designer. And I was really young at the time, and I remember managing them, and we got this feedback from the sales team, and the sales team said, you know, this is horrible. You can't do open back shirts. And you need something layered, blah, blah, blah. So I come back to the team, and I just basically am pretty brutal with my feedback. I mean, like, you guys, we can't do this. And I was most frustrated because I was following my intuition, and they convinced me this is the designs we need to do. So I came back and said, you know, we need to make these changes, and I guess I didn't say it well. She ended up leaving without telling me where she was going, and my assistant that I had hired maybe 4 months later left and wrote a letter to the CEO saying that I didn't make her feel like she could do her job. So that's a failure, I think. But the CEO kept me on.
Yeah.
Told me what happened, and I learned from it. So I don't know if it's a failure or just a
Yep.
And it stays in the back of my mind, like to this day, because I think I can be a tough. I'm positive, but I'm also like, okay, that was good. Now what are we doing next? It's like on to the next. Like it's like, yay, we did it, but what's next? So sometimes I can be a tough sell.
So do you celebrate the small wins, or are you kind of just always moving forward? And do you take time to celebrate the small wins? And
I think I do. I mean, I think that yeah, I do. There's been a lot of fun wins like this the last 2 years. Like every little thing is exciting. Just a new account or a new order or something that's bigger than the last. It's like really exciting. And or friends and people that you hope will work with you, end up working with you, and you're like, this is amazing. Or things that I couldn't even have imagined doing, have happened. So I think, yes, I totally am grateful for the wins and aware of them, and try to get my team to be really aware of them too.
What are some proud achievement or moments that you could share?
Well, obviously being married to like an awesome guy, I feel like I dated a lot of duds. And so it was a little scary for me for a while. So I think being with like a guy that's really nice, like that's hard for people. A nice guy, I'm just so grateful for that. And then having 2 kids and owning my own business, I feel like that's a huge achievement. And then hopefully teaching my kids that that's like, that you can do it, and I hopefully giving enough attention to them, but also still running, a healthy business. Okay, what advice would I give someone who's trying to find talent? I read something that said you should find someone that does something that's different than you. So that's one thing I would say. So if you own a bakery and you're really good at baking, maybe baking is not finding another person that bakes, it's finding the person that's gonna run the front because you're good at the baking. Or if you can run things and you want someone to bake, then find the bakery. But I think sometimes people try to find the same thing that they're good at, and that was more of I read it, I wouldn't say that's my advice. And then I would also say is just to kind of be around the industry that you're looking for someone in. So if I'd go to the culinary school here and just put the word out, and get people that are starting young and hungry.
Since we both bring in a lot of products, like a lot of our cost is shipping, especially to Hawaii.
Yes.
China, tariffs.
Yep.
How are you dealing with these?
I think I'm just gonna deal with it as it comes because it's everyone's issue. It's not just our industry. It's gonna be every single category. I think we just have to shift with whatever happens. But we don't have control over it. And you can't really stress over what you can't control. So for me, it's like if they have to pay $1 for a pen versus 20 cents, then they just buy less. I don't know. I think you just have to sort of kind of like everyone accepted when something goes up and it goes up for everyone, then everyone has to accept it. It's not like you're competing this against something that's half off, So I think if the whole bar is raised, then there's not really much to stress about other than you just have to sort of let the people know that that's just the reality. That's the president. It's not my problem. That's what he said, and we're living in this country, and that's how we have to sort of make do with business. How do you feel about it?
I hate it, but that's the same thing. If it's going up for everyone, it's going up for everyone. They gotta understand. But then you get companies like Amazon or some people who can figure out ways that are not paying that, and that's how you have a competitive advantage. Shipping has been a thing for us where it's been an advantage, but not like from China now with like extra tariffs. It sucks. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Especially if you have like jobs quoted already, and it's like,
right.
Okay, that duties on like tote bags. It used to
True.
It was like 14% or something for like non-woven, and now it's higher.
Then you just got to figure out what's the other fabric you do it in. We just have to be creative, I guess. But yeah, when I worked for Fox in design, we had to deal with it. It changed every year. Not as drastic as it is now, but literally like fleece, it would be like 25% like duty rate that year on that cotton. So you have to change it to like more polyester than cotton. Then people started buying more poly. Like, you know, you just kind of almost have to just figure out ways. And the beauty is that we don't own the business that we do that deal directly with China, but we also work with tons of companies that are dealing with this as well. So all of our vendors have to figure out how to adjust too. So I think we're like in a pool of people all trying. So I think it's helpful. We're not like on our own. Like I can't imagine being one of our vendors and they're the ones that are really gonna have to, you know, because we could go straight or we could figure out other ways, but that's their whole business is based on buying from their stocking and selling to us. That's on a side note. But
yeah, the imprinter is like buy in bulk, imprint it, send it out.
So I think they're the ones that are taking the biggest risk because we can kind of, we don't stock, so we can kind of figure out what to sell next. Versus here's leads that has 800 or whatever it is options, and now they're gonna have duty on everything. So.
And they're stuck with their catalog. Like, this is our 2020.
Right.
Oh crap.
Yeah, or maybe they just stocked early and, you know, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think the shipping thing here is gonna be huge. But the good and bad side is I think Amazon and all those are getting kind of more knowledgeable and not shipping to Hawaii. Yeah. So it almost like works in our favor because a lot of stuff now won't ship to Hawaii. So then we always know how to bring it here, you know?
Yeah, I'm freight forwarding that over.
Yeah. Oh, weird. You don't know how to get it in? Okay, we got you.
Yeah, don't worry. You know, once you're in like creative design Hawaii or JPEG Hawaii, we become like sourcing resources.
Yeah.
If someone want to buy a jet engine,
yeah,
I'm sure you and I could find a jet engine and the best way to ship it.
I feel like I found something harder than a jet engine this year.
Yeah.
You know.
What did you find that was harder than jet engine?
Oh gosh. I mean the
Is
most.
It like a frog?
Yeah, like a most minuscule type of specific, who knows what. Like, oh no, like the Japanese gifting bag that folds into 4 different sides and like ties and goes like I don't even know. I still haven't found it. That's probably that's harder than a jet engine. I could find the jet engine before I could find a stupid.
So you need to find a manufacturer who can make the box or make the bag.
It's a bag that's like in the shape of a box that I need to like figure out the pattern to. So it's complicated.
Do you have the bag? Take it apart?
No, I don't have the bag. It's like in this person's. It's like a Japanese gift bag. So I need to go buy one of those bags first.
Do you know anyone from Japan?
Exactly.
Straight up, they'll probably know it.
I know. So yes,
my brother's wife's from Japan.
That's where I'm at right now.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome because you become a source and like with working with Fox and knowing the supply chain that they had and you have relationships from there. That's very similar to what we do.
I know. I mean, I feel grateful that I got introduced to the business and had no idea what I was getting myself into, but it's luckily I have the skill set. But I couldn't imagine if someone just like bought it without knowing the knowledge I had or having a network that I have. Like
you'd have a catalog.
You'd be
fighting American Solutions for Business or Pro Forma or For Imprint and their commercials and every guy
and I'm not
out of their
threatened at all by any of that.
Yeah.
So I feel totally comfortable with what we have, and I think there's enough business to be had. So I just think every person that buys from For Imprint should be buying from one of us.
All right, Tiana Gamble.
Yes.
Tiana, AKA formerly known as Tiana Becker. That's right. From Becker Automotive Design.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to share with the millions of pixels in that camera?
No, I think thank you for doing such a great thing for the community and for the world.